Hi there everyone, Gary here from Restore Solutions. I've got a special guest, Jay here. He's an occupational hygienist. Now, I've asked Jay to come in here to talk to me and help me and help my customers understand a little bit about safety, about products. Here we have a couple of mold-based products. This is Stabilised chlorine dioxide and this is a hydrogen peroxide. These are Protox products. This one is used for the cleaning aspect for mold, and this one's used for stain removal. But there is a lot of other brands out there that might use hydrogen peroxide as the cleaning aspect for mold. So I just wanted to get Jay in and talk about some safety stuff, just to do a little bit of education for the people that are out there using these products. Jay, thanks for coming, mate. Thanks for helping out. Can we talk a little bit about the difference in safeties on both of these base products?
Yep.
Not necessarily the brand, but Stabilised chlorine dioxide versus hydrogen peroxide.
Okay. So what we are talking about is basically your chemical risk assessment. That's something you should do every time you're using a chemical, to choose a non-hazardous chemical or a less hazardous chemical, so you can ease off on a PPE and you know you're not putting your staff at risk. Because the work health and safety law requires us to reduce the risk so far as reasonably practicable. And it is reasonable for us to choose a product which is less toxic. So we're going to try and find out which one is less toxic and does the job for us. So we got two products here. One is hydrogen peroxide. So if anyone doesn't know, this is an acidic product. The pH scale usually sits around 6. That's a slightly alkaline product. So they both are corrosive and you need to work with controls when you're using both of them. Now, there is a respiratory protection requirement for both of them, so that remains the same. Now, the biggest difference in the product is the hydrogen peroxide stays active on a surface for as long as up to 24 hours. Whereas when you're using a chlorine dioxide, it stabilizes after, when you finish the use, within next 5 to 10 minutes, it stabilizes. What that means for your staff and your workers in the property, and if you have occupants in the houses, they can be allowed in the property after 10 minutes when you finish using the product. They might not be able to enter the property for up to 24 hours depending on a concentration and amount you're using on a job. Second thing comes to your gloves. You can use these chemicals, chlorine dioxide based chemicals, with your normal disposable nitrile gloves. Whereas because hydrogen peroxide is acidic, and the other problem is it's not a stable chemical. So usually there is another acid added to it to stabilize it. You might require a good quality reusable chemical resistant glove, so you're going to need more PPE.
So what happens if, like, say I was doing a frame of a wall and cleaning it down? Can I scrub this product? Could I scrub hydrogen peroxide? What would happen if I started scrubbing with a brush?
Scrubbing the product on the job, let's not talk about the job, talk about your skin. So you are getting very close to the product. If it gets on your skin, because it's acidic, it can itch your skin and damage your skin. It's got high possibility it can damage your skin cells and eye retina. So if you're spraying something and it gets in your eye, that's where the problem is. Now, if anyone who has ever used hydrogen peroxide and get it on your skin, you will remember that it stays active for up to a couple of hours. Even if you wash your hand under running water, it still stays active on your skin for quite some time. You can't wash it off that quickly. So usually for this sort of chemicals, if you really want to use it, what you need to do is you need to set up a hand and eye wash station. But problem with hydrogen peroxide is it itches the skin on the contact. So by the time you get to the eye wash, it's going to be too late.
Too late, yeah. So if let's just say that this one's slightly alkaline, so it's got grease cutting ability, and why would that be beneficial with mold?
Usually with mold, there are two types of mold. Most of you know it. Environmental mold, so you got a category 3 in one corner and settled spores are settling on the surface somewhere, and you got a mold growth on a G-Proc or whatever it is, you just want to clean it up. You would require that alkaline degreasing power. So any alkaline detergent, we use alkaline detergent for all sort of cleaning. Most of the detergent or a heavy duty cleaner are alkaline. They helps you with cleaning. With the acid, they etch into the surface. The other problem that will bring into the job is, if you have a natural flooring, something like slate or travertine, and you drop acid in it, you own that piece of flooring.
Any limestone or marble.
Yep, all of them. Yep.
You start to etch and take the shine off it.
Of course, yes.
Yep.
And then it's not a reversible damage. Whereas if you drop an alkaline detergent, it will clean it up, but you can then clean the rest of the floor and it can still be able to save the flooring.
So I'm not out there saying that stabilised chlorine dioxide is the only product to use for mould against hydrogen peroxide. They'll both work in removing mould. The problem is you've got a lot more safety concerns with the actual hydrogen peroxide itself, and you really have to thoroughly dry vacuum afterwards. After you've applied the product, you vacuum first, apply the product, and then you've got to do some sort of wiping, some sort of agitation to get the product to work, and then you've got to do a vacuum after to get rid of all those dead spores. But with that alkaline cleaning ability, it actually physically removes the mold off the surface.
So what it does, it breaks the surface tension down and you can easily remove it. So it's just about applying the solution. It will break the surface tension, remove the contaminant or draws it out. So it's so much easier to clean it. It also helps with degreasing, because most of the time when you have environmental growth happening, it's usually a dirty surface. That's why it's happening most of the times. So also helps with cleaning a little bit. One more thing we need to understand is this chemical is a lot less toxic when we compare it to hydrogen peroxide. I was studying the SDA sheet of one of the hydrogen peroxide based chemicals, not necessarily this one, another one, and this one. When we look at the toxicity data, that's what everyone should do every time you use any chemical. Hydrogen peroxide based chemicals have a LD50 of as little as 1 grams, close to 1 grams, 1.41 grams, something close to it. So what that means is, in the laboratory environment, when they administered 1.1 grams of hydrogen peroxide to the laboratory animals, 50% of them died. So that means it's a known toxin. Most of the hydrogen peroxide based products have around 10 to 30% hydrogen peroxide in it. So it's a lot more chemical in it. You're using it at a very high concentration. Hydrogen peroxide also have a known workplace exposure standard. Any chemical which has got a known workplace exposure standard means it's toxic, and their exposure must be kept below the workplace exposure standard, otherwise it will cause them adverse health effects.
And this is 1% chemical.
That's 1% chemical, so it's got a lot less chemical, it's heavily diluted. On accidental chances it gets on your skin or eyes, you can quickly wash it off and it doesn't stays or doesn't burn your skin really quickly. So you can ease off on your PPE a little bit. When you're using a hydrogen peroxide based product, you need to be spot on your PPE. The companies also recommend you need to have some sort of engineering control to make sure the chemicals, if you are spraying it, doesn't go in the areas they're not meant to go in. If you are going to scrub the frames, some of the manufacturers recommend you use something called a barrier cream. So in case if the chemical make it through your gloves, which it will because it's acidic and you're using it for extended period of time, if it gets to your skin, it can't go inside, because if it touches your skin, it's going to last on your skin for a few hours, and most of you already know it.
Yes. So mate, this has been absolutely fantastic, because safety is key.
Absolutely.
It's getting, I know your business is going nuts, especially in the silica world.
Yep,
and,
it is.
And certainly about safety from where it was 10 years ago to where it is today. Certainly safety is a big thing, and I wanted to stress this upon people about safety, because at the end of the day, years ago I remember when I was cleaning out the wrong respirator, and I got physically ill from a product that I thought my respirator was working and it wasn't. So it is
important.
It is a very big problem. So thought I'd share that information with you, everyone, and thanks again for your time.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks very much. Appreciate it. This has been fantastic. Hit us up if you've got any other questions, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.